We welcome everybody who's watching online as well as ringside at ringsidelive.co for the National Western Stock Show. Our judge for our Charolais show is Mr. Cody Sankey from Economy, Indiana. We appreciate Cody taking the time to evaluate our stock here today. We're going to get started with Class 102 of our late spring heifer calves. We have within Class 102 entries 3302 comes from Avery Knupp of Orion, Illinois. 3303 comes from Thomas Ranch of Harold, South Dakota. 3304 comes from Brooke Paulzine of Darwin, Minnesota. 3305 comes from Sidney Allard of Sidney, Nebraska. And 3306 comes from Huck Plyer of Hope, Arkansas. Those are your entries that will make up Class 102 on your Charolais show. If you are an individual with the name of Michael and you are missing your wallet has been turned in to the announcer's table. So please come see one of us at the gates and we'll direct you to where you need to go to grab your wallet. Again, Michael, and I do not know how to pronounce your last name, but if your name is Michael and you're missing some money, we have it. And if it stays here too much longer, we might just use it, but that's just a joke. I'm just kidding. Michael, if you're missing your wallet, come see us. Thank you.
What a great way to start off our Charolais show here, and certainly an honor and a pleasure to get to evaluate the cattle here this morning. Young lady's heifer I'm going to use to start off with. I think she surfaces in this class. As you study her at the ground, as she gets out and moves, her structure's right and her angles to her shoulder. Then we combine that into a balanced, attractive package. I think a female that's refined up through her front 1/3, looks like a female about her head and neck. I like the way she ties into her forerib and back into her rear flank. As you step in behind this female, she's got plenty of substance and mass to her. I think a nice place to lead off. Heifer in second, I think, closely follows her type and kind in terms of femininity and balance and structure. Just maybe not quite as mature looking in her center body, as much depth as we see in some of that heifer that leads off with, I think, but certainly a nice, high-quality individual that has a bright future to her. Really like this heifer here from a stoutness and power perspective. As you step in behind this heifer, if not the stoutest heifer in the class in terms of muscle shape down her top and out of her hip. For me, she maybe opens up a little in her shoulder. She wants to roll out of her front end, maybe just get a little plainer in the way she's put together and round from hooks to pins just a touch, but love the stoutness, the rib shape, and the power in that heifer in third. Heifer that comes in fourth gives up a little bit in performance out here in this class, but I think a female that's moderate, she's good in her type and kind, she's functional in her look. I think a female that has a bright future to her. Young man's heifer that's going to complete the class. For me, I just like to fix her in her structure and the way she handles her hind leg and down at the ground, the way she travels to move her up in class, but still appreciate her length of body, the shape of muscle that she offers. Really a high-quality class here in our maze. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
Your results for Class 102. Fifth place, 3306 from Huck Plyer. Fourth place, 3305 from Sydney Allard. Third place, 3302 from Avery Knupp. Second place, 3303 from Thomas Ranch. And your class winner was entry 3304 from Brooke Polzine. In the ring at this time is now Class 103 of early spring heifer calves. We have within Class 103 entries 3307 from Anna Link of Rio, Illinois. 3308 comes from Tatum Carlson of Henry, Nebraska. And 3314 comes from Brixton Steve Birchke of Oneida, South Dakota. These are your three entries that will make up Class 103A.
Out here in this class, the young man's heifer I'm going to use to start off with. I think she does so from a structural standpoint compared to the heifer in second. I think she excels right over in her shoulder and her front knee and the way she places down at the ground. I think you study this heifer right here. Really a long-sided female that has good length of hip and sits down with a nice, attractive hind leg. Lots of body and mass in that heifer. Has some width. I think a nice place to lead off. Heifer in second is really a high-quality, well-balanced heifer. For me, her trouble lies in her structure in her front shoulder. Wants to get in at her knee and turn out up front. I just question the long-term structural standpoint of that front leg structure, but I think a heifer that has plenty of stoutness to her, plenty of muscle out of her hip. Heifer that comes in third, a sound moving heifer, just gives up a little bit in terms of performance and mass to the two heifers in front of her out here, but really a nice set of females. Let's give them all a nice round of applause.
Your results for Class 103A of early spring heifer calves. Third place, 3308 from Tatum Carlson. Second place, 3307 from Anna Link. And your class winner was entry 3314 from Brixton Steve Birchke. Now making their way into the ring will be Class 103B of early spring heifer calves. Within Class 103B, we have entries 3316 from Huck Plyer of Hope, Arkansas. 3317 comes from McKenna Tucker of Briggsdale, Colorado. 3318 comes from Sydney Allard of Sydney, Nebraska. 3319 comes from Brock Studer of Creston, Iowa. 3321 comes from Easton Hill of Nunn, Colorado. And 3323 comes from Josie Schrader of Wells, Kansas. Those are your entries that make up Class 103B.
Really a high-quality class here at heifer calves. Heifer I'm going to use to lead off with, in my opinion, probably the most balanced female out here, from a structure and body and balance, and the way she puts it all together, I think really does it to the highest degree. As you see her here stand, just gives an attractive look from the side, I think, compared to some of the other heifers. Just so much better in her top line and sets that tail head in just a shot smoother. Comes down with a really nice set to her hind leg. Then you watch her travel. Her structure's right, and her angles and her joints, and enough substance and power in that female I really like where she starts off with. I like the heifer in second. I think she most closely follows the heifer that wins the class in terms of just the make and kind of that heifer. Maybe wants to set her tail head up there just a little bit, maybe just a little tighter in the center portion of her body compared to the one that wins, but really a high-quality female. I like the maternal look of this female, about her head and her neck and her shoulder and the way she ties in there. From a muscle standpoint for me, as I step in behind her, she's just a little plainer down her top line, maybe not quite the stoutness that we see in those heifers that precede her in the lineup, but still a real maternal, sound, functional female that has a lot of value. This female that comes in next, another one of those heifers that has lots of muscle shape to her. As you stand in behind her, you like the power this female offers. For me, she maybe just starts to run down and get a little weak over her top line, maybe a little tighter in her rear rib and flank, and just soften her up just a touch, but still a high-quality female. Young man's got a performance-oriented female here, sound, big body, maybe just not the look and quality and eye appeal of the heifers that precede her in the lineup, but certainly a great set of heifers in this class. Let's give these exhibitors a nice round of applause.
Your results? No. Your results for Class 103B of early spring heifer calves. 5th place, 33-16 from Huck Plyer. 4th place, 33-17 from McKenna Tucker. 3rd place, 33-23 from Josie Schrader. 2nd place, 33-21 from Easton Hill. And your class winner was entry 33-19 from Brock Studer. At this time, we will now bring back our class winners from classes 102, 103A, and 103B. Our judge will select your champion and reserve champion spring calves. Once more in the ring is our class winners from classes 102, 103A, and 103B. From class 102, we have entry 3304 from Brooke Polzine. 2nd place from class 102 is entry 3303 from Thomas Ranch. From class 103A, we have our 1st place 3314 from Brixton Steve Birchke. And our 2nd place is entry 3307 from Anna Link. Coming out of class 103B is 1st place 3319 from Brock Studer. Your 2nd place 3321 from Easton.
Well, really impressive in our first division here. I think really a stout set of class winners and an awesome set of seconds. So, it gets really tough when you get out here. You break them down. I think all three of these heifers have some merit to consider in contention here for the division. The heifer calf out of our first class, just so good looking from the side. One that just captivates you when you stand off and look at her and her balance and how she's going to have a tremendously bright future ahead of her and where she goes and what she does. And the way she's put together, I think, is really exciting to watch her develop. develop. The one that comes in here out of our middle class, just extremely long-bodied. I like the set to her hind leg. Her structure is what got her up in that class. Has plenty of mass and substance, so I think a big, stout, powerful female here that merits some consideration. And then our heifer out of the third class. I think a heifer, as you evaluate her, we talked about her structure and the way she travels, the way she blends in down her top line and out through her tailhead, propelled her in that class. You step in behind her, I think a lot of substance and mass to that female, a lot of dimension. And our seconds over there, I think they all have their own merit that have brought them in this arena. But join me and give these exhibitors a big round of applause. I'm going to take one more look here, and then we'll get you a division champion.
Your spring calf champion female comes from Class 102. That is entry 3304 from Brooke Polzine of Darwin, Minnesota. Rolling into consideration now will be the second place from Class 102. Your reserve spring calf champion female comes from Class 103B. That is entry 3319 from Brock Studer of Creston, Iowa. Now making their way into the ring will be Class 104A of junior heifer calves. Class 104A of Charolais junior heifers will have entries 3326 from Josie Schrader of Wells, Kansas. 3330 comes from Maddie Kruger of Bennington, Kansas. 3331 comes from Briar Ann Blanchette of Edam, Canada. 3332 comes from Cashlyn Krebs of Gordon, Nebraska. 3333 comes from Briar Blanchette and Thomas Ranch. 3335 comes from Kelly Gaffney of Barnveld, Wisconsin. And 3337 comes from Cap Rock Cattle Company of Helka, South Dakota. Those are your entries that will make up Class 104A of your Charolais show.
Really an interesting class, top to bottom. I'm sure if you're standing ringside, everyone has a favorite. I'm going to kind of talk you through how I arrived at my placing, and it started with this heifer and her structure. I think she's the truest at the ground of any of the heifers that we have in the class, the way she plants and moves and she strides, and every one of them is different on down the line. I think her angle to her the shoulder and the way she holds herself together in her front one end and she travels, and then as you watch her step down at the ground, she stays with some base width and some width. You know, she's the one that wows you from any perspective. Maybe not, but I think her structure gets her to the top of the class, and then you step in behind her. There's still enough cow power and body and substance there. Heifer that comes in next in line I like a lot about as I watch her go away. She wants to get narrow underneath and roll out on her hock just a bit. I just like to change that about her. But I think a female, as you study her quality or look from the side, really a lot of good in this female. Just tweak her structure compared to the heifer that leads off. This heifer in third, I love her maternal look, her up through her front end, her body shape. As I ask her to go, she wants to get a little awkward in how she handles her hind legs. She wants to set in with a little more set. She wants to hawk in. I just like to fix her there from a structure standpoint to move her up in this class. But I think a big, stout, big-bodied female. I love the power in this heifer in fourth. As we asked him to go again, the tail head wants to come up out of her just a bit, open up a touch in her shoulder. If I could just pull her together just there, and I think part of it, she's just so long-bodied. She is an extremely long kind of a female. But as you watch her, that tail head comes up, it kind of affects her balance for me. I just like to fix her there. Heifer that comes in next, probably a little out there in terms of size and scale for me in this class as you study her in terms of frame and maturity pattern compared to the heifers on either side of her. She looks to be more out there. If we could maybe set her in her size and demographic of where she is, I think a heifer, though, that certainly has a lot of quality about her. The heifer that comes out next in class, I think a female that's really gets out and travel. She just doesn't have the width. When you stand in and study three-dimensional shape on this female, look at her down her top, out of her hip, and down to the ground, just like to widen that female up. And the heifer that comes in next, I just like to soften her in her center body, widen her out from hooks to pins to move her up in this class. But really an awesome set of cattle from top to bottom. Let's give all these exhibitors a nice round of applause.
Your results for Class 104A of your Charolais Junior Heifer Calves: 7th place, 33-37 from Caprock Cattle Company. 6th place, 33-30 from Maddie Kruger. 5th place, 33-31 from Briar Blanchette. 4th place, 33-33 from Briar Blanchette. 3rd place, 33-26 from Josie Schrader. 2nd place, 33-35 from Kelly Gaffney. And your class winner was entry 33-32 from Cashlyn Krebs. In the ring at this time for your Charolais show is Class 104B of Junior Heifer Calves. We have 2 entries that make up Class 104B. These are entries 33-38 from J.D. Ledoux of Harold, South Dakota, and Tana Cassett of Webb City, Missouri, with entry 33-43. Those are your 2 entries that make up your Charolais show. And we welcome our Simmental exhibitors and everyone watching online at ringsidelive.co via National Western. This is our 2025 National Western Stock Show's Junior Percentage Simmental Show. We have in the ring class number 1 of percentage semi heifers born April through May of 2024. We have in the ring class 1. Entries include 2152 from Abel Reed of Filler, Idaho. 2160 comes from Arabella Benz of Deweyville, Utah. 2156 comes from Braxton Cole of Lockney, Texas. And 2157 comes from Kennedy Effling of Highmore, South Dakota. Those are your 4 entries that make up class number 1 in your percentage Simmental show. Our judges for our semi-junior show will be Justin and Bob Adcock. They reside in Moeca, Illinois. We appreciate those 2 judging our semi-show here today at the National Western. As we go on through the day, we'll give a little bit more of a background on those 2 individuals. We appreciate them judging here for the last year for the junior show to be hosted here in Stadium Arena.
You'll be first, you'll be second, so we'll just turn them and come right down this way. Just two entries in this older class of heifers. I think the heifer that we're going to start off with, really a high-quality individual. Talked about structure all day. I think a female that gets out and travels, her angles are right. I love the way she balances down her top line from her nose down into her tail. She blends together very well. Great center depth of rib. You step in with plenty of shape behind. Really a nice place to lead off with. Heifer in second, extremely long, extremely has plenty of length from one end to the other. If you study her, maybe just not quite the power that we find in the heifer that precedes her out here in this class, but two really high quality females. Let's give them a nice round of applause here as they go out of the ring.
Your results for Class 104B of junior Charolais heifers. That is second place, 33-43 from Tana Cassett of Webb City, Missouri. Your class winner, 33-38, comes from J.D. Ledoux of Harold, South Dakota. At this time, within our Charolais show, we will bring back our class winners. Our judge will select your champion and reserve champion junior calves. We'll have our entries coming back from Class 104A. First place being 33-32 from Cashlyn Krebs. Second place, 33-35 from Kelly Gaffney. Coming back from the class that was just in the ring would be Class 104B. We'll have first place, 33-38 from J.D. Ledoux, and your second place is 33-43 from Tana Cassett. These are your first and seconds for our judge, Mr. Cody Sankey, to select your champion and reserve champion junior calf females.
Over here on our Charolais side, real quick in our division out here, I think not a lot of numbers like our first division, but I think a lot of quality. And to get back out here, I think it gets close in between our two class winners out here, not to take anything away from our seconds. But our heifer out of our second class, just enough more stoutness and power. She's going to be our division champion and following with the young lady out of Class 1 for reserve. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Congratulations. Congratulations. Yep.
Your junior calf champion female on your Charolais show comes out of Class 104B. That is entry 33-38 from J.D. Ledoux of Harold, South Dakota. Your reserve junior calf champion female comes out of Class 104A. That is entry 33-32 from Cashlyn Krebs of Gordon, Nebraska. In your percentage Simmental Junior show, your results coming in for class number 1. Fourth place was 21.52 from Abel Reed. Third place was 21.56 from Braxton Cole. Second place was 21.60 from Arabella Benz. And your class winner was entry 21.57 from Kennedy Effling. In the ring at this time now is class number 2 of percentage Simmental heifers born of March of 2024. We have entries 21.58 from Hunter McClure, 21.59 from Arabella Benz, 21.61 from Tyler Miller, 2164 from Paisley Schick, and 2162 from Tana Cassett. Those are your entries that make up Class 2 of your percentage Simmental heifers. In the ring at this time for your Charolais show is Class 105 of winter heifer calves. We have a single entry within this class. We have entry 3344 from Tana Cassett of Webb City, Missouri. This is the only entry in the class and the only class in the division, so therefore first place within this class will become your champion senior calf.
Really a nice single entry here that's going to win our division. Just full of cow power in this female. As you step right in behind her here, you can see the extra three-dimensional shape this female offers. Outward shape to her rib cage and comes out with some power and out of her. You look in through her width underneath, a female that certainly has a lot of dimension to her. Let's give this young lady a nice round of applause here on her single entry in her division winner as she exits the arena.
Your results for Class 105 of Charolais Winter Heifer Calves. First place and your champion senior calf female is entry 3344 from Tana Cassett of Webb City, Missouri. Within our Charolais show, we will now move out our ring and bring up Class 107. These are a new division of intermediates. Class 107 is late summer yearling females. We have a single entry in Class 107. This is entry 3349 coming from Andrew Borer of Martinsburg, West Virginia.
Really a high-quality single entry here in this class. Summer-born heifer, though, as you evaluate her, she sets up there just a lot of quality in this female. You talk about her, and that way she blends in through her front one-third and ties that into her top line and back in through her rear rib and flank, and then sets down with a nice, attractive hind leg. Get in behind her and still has enough width and power to that heifer. Really a nice single entry. Be fun to see her back out here in division.
Results for Class 107 of Charolais. First place, 3349 from Andrew Borer of Martinsburg, West Virginia. We'll clear out our ring and bring up Class 108 of summer yearling females within our Charolais Intermediate Division. We have a single entry within Class 108. This is entry 3350 coming from Jalen Sontag of Hays, Kansas. This is our last class in the Intermediate Division category.
Another single entry on our Charolais side. Really a long-bodied female that's feminine in the way she's built up through her head and neck and down into her shoulder. I think long and level out from hooks to pins. A female that has enough substance, enough mass, enough performance. Be fun to see her back out here in division. Let's give this exhibitor a nice round of applause.
Results for Class 108 of Charolais Summer Yearling Females. First place, 3350 from Jalen Sontag of Hays, Kansas. At this time, we will now bring back our class winners from 107 and 108. Our judge, Mr. Cody Sankey, will select your champion and reserve champion intermediate females.
Just two heifers out here in our summer division. Both the heifers certainly bring a lot to the table. As you get back out here and evaluate them, the heifer out of our first class, I think, just has enough more ring presence, quality, and next level ability. She's going to be our division champion. Heifer out of our second class will be reserved. So let's give them a nice round of applause.
Your intermediate champion Charolais female is entry 3349 from Andrew Borer of Martinsburg, West Virginia. Your reserve intermediate champion female is entry 3350 from Jalen Sontag of Hayes, Kansas. We will now clear out our ring and make way for Class 109. Class 109 is late spring yearling females. This is a new division for our spring category. Within Class 109, we will have entries 3353 from Carter Hogue of Good Hope, Illinois. 3355 from J.D. Ledoux of Harold, South Dakota. 3356 comes from Kirby Coons of Lincoln, Kansas. And 3402 rounds out our class from Alina Hanks of Wattage, Illinois. Your results for Class 2 of your percentage Simmental heifers: 5th place, 2162 from Tana Cassett. 4th place, 2158 from Hunter McClure. 2159 from Arabella Benz. 2nd place, 2161 from Tyler Miller. And your class winner was entry 2164 from Paisley Schick. In the ring at this time now is this is going to be our class winners from classes 1 and 2. We will have our first place entries return for our judge to select your champion and reserve champion spring heifer calves.
Really an interesting class here on our Charolais side. These 4 heifers all bring a little something different to the table, and I can certainly see if you lie your priorities in a different location, set them up differently. I'll kind of talk you through what I see out here. The heifer I'm going to use to lead off with, I think her balance from the side and the way she ties her head high in at the point of her shoulder and comes back straight and true down her top line, probably the most level out through her hooks to her pins, and sets down with a nice set to her hind leg. I think you have a female, as you look at her from her forerib back into her flank, you can tell she's bred. She's setting some udder in there. I think at this stage of the game, these older bred heifers, if they haven't calved already, they ought to be darn close, and I like that about her. I just think a really complete, solid kind of an individual to start off with. Heifer in second, I love her substance and her power and her shape to her rib. She maybe just doesn't balance up like the heifer that's going to lead off the class. She maybe wants to run downhill just a touch, maybe not dropping in near as much udder as the heifer that's going to lead off the class, but still, I love how she's built and the way she puts it all together. Powerhouse individual there in second. The female in third is the one I probably looked at and find a lot of things I like and then some things I'd change about her. You love her overall just mass and dimension of this female. She's eye-catching. Ask her to go. She maybe wants to get outside of herself and the way she tracks and her structure. Maybe a little more conditioned than some of the other heifers out here in this lineup, but still a big, stout, powerful individual there that comes out next in this class. Heifer that comes out here at the end, I love the udder. Setting in a nice udder. Going to go on and be a tremendous cow here at some point. Really refined as you tie her up against the 3 that are in front of her. Just maybe not enough width as I step in behind her, look at her down her top and out of her hip. But what a class of 4 heifers here. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
Certainly are not. We started off today Your champion spring heifer calf in your Simmental is entry 2157 from Kennedy Effling. The reserve comes from class number 2. That is going to be entry 2164 from Paisley Schick.
Two entries back over here on our Charolais side. Heifer that's going to lead off with, I think, just a really attractive made female, really refined about her head and front 1/3 and the way she ties in there. I think a female that's extremely long and good out down through her top line, really setting in to make a nice udder here as a bred heifer. I think a female that as you look at her in structure, she gets out and travels. I think a fun heifer to see back out in division. Heifer in second, I really like her stoutness and power. She probably holds a little bit of an advantage in terms of bone and foot size compared to the heifer that beats her, but still maybe just a little tighter in that center body, maybe not quite the udder development setting in there in the rear 1/3, but I think really a nice pair of heifers in this class. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
In your Charolais show, your results for class 110 of early spring yearling females. Second place, 3359 from Shayla Demukes of Chakota, Oklahoma. And your class winner was entry 3358 from Matthew Bruns of North Platte, Nebraska. Within our Charolais show, we will bring back our class winners from 109 and 110. Our judge will select your champion and a reserve champion spring females. Making their way into your Simmental show ring on the south side is class number 3. These are percentage semi-heifers born January through February of 2024. We have entries 2166 from Natalie Trauernicht of Wymore, Nebraska. 2233 comes from Luke Katz of Beatrice, Nebraska. 2184 comes from Maggie Griswold of Stillwater, Oklahoma. 2170 comes from Arabella Benz of Deweyville, Utah. And 2174 comes from Lear Hansen of Burlington, Colorado. This is the only class within its division, so first and second within this class of semi-heifers will become your champion and reserve champion junior heifer calves. Once more in our Charolais show ring, we have our first and second place winners from 109 and 110. Your first and second from class 109, 3353 from Carter Hogue of Good Hope, Illinois. Second place being 3355 from J.D. Ledoux of Harold, South Dakota. From class 110, first place 3358 from Matthew Bruns of North Platte, Nebraska. And your second place 3359 from Shaylin Demukes of Chakota, Oklahoma.
Certainly a powerful division over here on our Charolais side. Didn't have a lot of heifers out here, but the quality sure runs deep. I think you get them back out here, there's definitely some give and take. They maybe aren't the heifers that all look the same, but I think they were the highest quality individuals in their classes when they came out here. And I'll kind of tell you what I see between the pair of these females that are out here in contention. Young man's heifer that's going to lead off with, I think, probably holds the advantage in terms of substance, mass, and power as you evaluate her from the rear view. You just love the width and mass that female offers, the outward shape to her rib cage, the bone, the foot size that heifer puts down at the ground. I think she sets in good and she balances up very nice from the side. I like that udder that she's setting in underneath her there. Just a lot of quality in this kind of heifer right here that comes out of our first class. The heifer in second class is no slouch and definitely in contention out here in this class. I think a heifer is extremely long as anything we have out here from nose to tail. You love the straightness and levelness of her top line, really attractive up through her front 1/3, a little sharper fronted heifer maybe than the heifer in front of us. I think a female that you get out here, she maybe just gets a little frailer in her bone work. She maybe doesn't have quite the substance out of her hip that the heifer in front of her. And so it gets to be a game of trade-off of where you set your priorities in these two females. I think there's a lot of quality in our second place heifers over there as well. Join me and give these exhibitors a big round of applause. I'm going to go out here and take one more look and then pick you a division winner.
Your spring champion female for your Charolais comes from class 109, that is 3353 from Carter Hogue. Your reserve champion comes from class 110, that is entry 3358 from Matthew Bruns. Up next in our Charolais show, we will move on to our next division. This will be our junior division. This will be class 111 of late junior yearling females. We have a single entry within this class 111. This is entry 3364 from Kelly Gaffney of Barnveld, Wisconsin. This is the only class in the division. Therefore, first place within class 111 will become your champion junior female.
Just a single entry here in this class, but a really stout, powerful female with plenty of bone and foot size in her. Be fun to see her back out here in division. Gets out, moves around the ring nice. Let's give this exhibitor a nice round of applause.
Results for class 111, first place, and your champion junior female, 3364 from Kelly Gaffney of Barnveld, Wisconsin. We'll now move into our next division of Charolais. This will be our senior division. We'll have in the ring class 114 of early senior yearling females. It'll consist of entries 3365 from Sutton Hill of Nunn, Colorado. This is the only class within the division. Therefore, first place within class 114 becomes your champion senior female.
Just a single entry over here on our Charolais side. Young man brings us out a fall pair, and I tell you what, we've talked about a lot of different things today, but the most important trait to remember in beef production is reproduction, and if they don't calve on time, they're going to cost you money, and I think this young man's done an excellent job of getting his pair here. I know how hard it is to bring a cow-calf pair here. She's good. She's functional. She's raising a big stout bull calf. He tells me he's going to raise him up and sell him. I think that's the name of the game. This cow here, you like her udder, you like her structure, you like her fertility. That's the basic fundamentals in beef production, and she does it very well. So let's give this young man a nice round of applause here as he exits the arena.
Your results from the final class of your Charolais for your female categories, Class 114, first place 3365, and your champion senior female comes from Sutton Hill of Nunn, Colorado. At this time within our Charolais show, we will bring back all of our division winners, and our judge will select your champion and reserve grand champion females. In your Simmental show ring, we now have class number 4. These are percentage Simmental heifers born November through December of 2023. 2 entries will make up class number 4. We have entry 2175 from Lear Hansen of Burlington, Colorado, and 2176 from Braxton Cole of Lockneek, Texas. These are your 2 entries that will make up class number 4 of your percentage semi-heifers. Making their way into the ring for your Charolais show is our division winners. From your first division, your champion spring calf is entry 3304 from Brooke Polzine from Darwin, Minnesota. From your second division of junior calves, entry 3338 from J.D. Ledoux of Harold, South Dakota. Your third division senior calf champion 3344 from Tana Cassett of Webb City, Missouri. From your fourth division of intermediate females, your champion 3349 from Andrew Borer of Martinsburg, West Virginia. From your fifth division of spring females, champion 3353 from Carter Hogue of Good Hope, Illinois. From your sixth division, your champion female is entry 3364 from Kelly Gaffney of Barnfeld, Wisconsin. And from your last and final division of senior females, your champion 3365 from Sutton Hill of Nunn, Colorado. Those are your division winners. For your judge, Mr. Cody Sankey, to select your grand and reserve grand champion females. Your results for class number 4 of your percentage Simmental heifers. Second place, 2175 from Lear Hansen of Burlington, Colorado. And your class winner was entry 2176 from Braxton Cole of Lockneek, Texas. We will now bring into the ring class number 5. These are percentage Simmental heifers born of October of 2023. We have 2 entries that make up class 5. 2177 comes from Carver Pryor of Woodbine, Iowa. And 2178 comes from Tanner Green of Mayville, Michigan. These are your 2 entries that make up class number 5. Class number 5 is our last class within our division of senior heifer calves.
Well, as we wrap up our heifer show here on the Charolais side, wow, what a tremendous set of females. What fun it's been to get out here and do this today and be a part of history on today and judging here on the hill. You know, we started with the first class of the day when this heifer came in till the last class that young man brought in the cow-calf pair down there. Just a tremendous set of quality. The Charolais breed is certainly on the rise. I think there's so much that they bring to the table in an environment, whether it's in the show ring or the commercial sector. The value of this breed is tremendous, and you can see it in the quality of these cattle that we have out here. You know, starting out of our first calf division, this heifer calf came out here, and she hit me pretty hard when she came in the ring, and I think she still does. I love the look, the quality, and balance that female has to offer. She has a tremendous future in front of her. That heifer that's standing right over on the other side of her will be a force to be reckoned with. If they have to show together all year, I'm sure they might end up a different way. Those two are certainly powerhouse females with lots of bright future in front of them. Out of our next division, we didn't give up much. I just love the basic function and fundamentals of this female right here in terms of her body and her mass and her substance and power. The way she comes together down her top line. Young ladies heifer that was reserve division, we talked about her structure in that class and how she rose to the top. You'd hear out of our heifer that was an only fall heifer here, but still, muscle, shape, dimension, the things you find in a continental breed that are important, that added power and substance. We get in our summer division here. I think a female that's definitely in contention. You look at her in terms of her substance, her mass, her power, the way she's blended down her top line, comes together from hooks to pins, and then the heifer that was over there behind her followed in her type and kind. The heifers out of our junior yearling division, that was a powerful division with a lot of quality, and I think these two females rose to the top. I think females that are certainly in the mix out here. You look at this heifer, the balance, the look, the mass, the things that you want in a Charolais female, she puts together very well, setting in a nice udder, and the heifer on the other side of her. Just love her length, her femininity, the refinement, and the center sweep to her body, the way she can get out and move. Get in here to our older females. I think a heifer here, as we look at this, I think just really just love the added substance, the width, the mass that she has as you get in behind her. And then we talked about this young man's cow down here on the end. I think a female that just has lots of good in terms of real world functionality, bringing that calf to the show here and getting that done. You know, there's been people here all week that talked about the history of this show and what it is and what it means, and I think I couldn't think of a better place to be today than right here in this arena, being part of history. It's also, we can't forget that it's Inauguration Day, and here in about 15 minutes we're going to get a new President of the United States, and I think that's important to remember that we live in a free country. It gives us the opportunities to do all the things that we love, including come out here to a cow show and exhibit these cattle in such an iconic place like the National Western Stock Show. So don't let the day go by without thinking about that, but join me in giving these exhibitors a great big round of applause, and I'll go out here and get your champion.
Your grand champion female comes from your 5th division from Good Hope, Illinois, Carter Hogue. Results to get to in your Charolais show. Your grand champion female, we already announced, was 33.53 from Carter Hogue of Good Hope, Illinois. Your reserve grand champion female also came from that same division. That is entry 33.58 from Matthew Bruns of North Platte, Nebraska. At this time within our Charolais show, we will take a picture break at the backdrop with our official photographers of Legacy Livestock Imaging. Results to get to in class number 5 on your Simmental show. Second place was 21.78 from Tanner Green, and your class winner was 21.77 from Carver Pryor. At this time within our Simmental show, we will now bring back our class winners from 4 and 5. Our judges will select your champion and reserve champion senior heifer calves. Your champion senior heifer calf comes from class number 5. That is entry 21.77 from Carver Pryor of Woodbine, Iowa. Your reserve champion senior heifer calf also comes from class number 5. That is entry 21.78 from Tanner Green of Mayville, Michigan. Moving right along in our Simmental show, we have now up into the ring class number 6. Class number 6 is percentage Simmental heifers born of March through April of 2023. We have 4 entries that make up class number 6. 2182 comes from Cadley Bailey of Creston, Iowa. 2183 comes from Wiley Simonson of Chinook, Montana. 2189 comes from Tyler Miller of Atlanta, Illinois. And 2190 comes from Jason Diaz of Fort Morgan, Colorado. These are your 4 entries that make up class number 6. Class number 6 is the only class in its division, so first and second within class number 6 will become your champion and reserve champion spring yearling heifers. Now that we have a little bit of time, we'll introduce our judges in a little bit more detail. They are Justin and Bob Adcock. They reside in Moeca, Illinois. Justin is a graduate of Lakeland College and the University of Illinois, where he received his bachelor's in animal science and his master's in ruminant nutrition. Justin is currently a district sales manager for Bayer Crop Science, Channel Seeds, and has had the opportunity to judge shows on every level in 22 states and Canada. Bob is a graduate of Lakeland College as well, where he received his degree in agricultural production prior to coming back to the family row crop and livestock operation. He has exhibited champions in the Simmental breed on every level, including multiple times at the American Royal, North American, and National Western. He also has had the privilege to judge shows throughout the United States, including Kansas City and Louisville. Alongside their family, he's owned Adcock Land and Livestock, a seed stock operation in central Illinois where they show and sell Angus and Simmental cattle throughout the United States. We appreciate the pair of judges, Justin and Bob, judging today's Simmental show here at the National Western for the last time here in Stadium Arena. Your results for class number 6 of your percentage semi-heifers. 4th place, 2190 from Jason Diaz. 3rd place, 2182 from Cadley Bailey. 2nd place, and your reserve champion spring yearling heifer, 2183 from Wiley Simonson of Chinook, Montana. Your class winner and your champion spring yearling heifer was entry 2189 from Tyler Miller of Atlanta, Illinois. Now moving into the ring will be class number 7. This is our last class for our percentage Simmental heifer show. Class number 7 has an entry 2194 from Kinsley Bremer. This entry was born September of 2022. This is the only class in its division, so first place within class number 7 will become your champion senior yearling heifer. Results for class number 7 of your percentage Simmental heifers. Your first place and your champion senior yearling heifer is 2194 from Kinsley Bremer of Fullerton, Nebraska. At this time, within our Simmental show, we will now bring back all of our division winners, and our judges will select your grand and reserve grand champion percentage Simmental heifers. Coming back from your first division of spring heifer calves, your champion, 2157, comes from Kennedy Effling of Highmore, South Dakota. From your second division of junior heifer calves, 2170 from Arabella Benz of Deweyville, Utah. Your third division of senior heifer calves, 2177 from Carver Pryor of Woodbine, Iowa. From your fourth division of spring yearling heifers, 2189 from Tyler Miller of Atlanta, Illinois. And from your fifth division, your champion senior yearling heifer, 2194 from Kinsley Bremer of Fullerton, Nebraska. Now making their way into the ring is the reserve champions from the divisions. From your first division, reserve champion spring heifer calf 2164 from Paisley Schick of Clinton, Illinois. From your second division, reserve champion junior heifer calf 2184 from Maggie Griswold of Stillwater, Oklahoma. From your third division, reserve champion senior heifer calf 2178 from Tanner Green of Mayville, Michigan. And from your fourth division, reserve champion spring yearling heifer 2183 from Wiley Simonson of Chinook, Montana. These are your division champions. For our judges to select your grand and reserve grand champion percentage Simmental heifers.
Just a single entry here to start our Charolais bull show, but a bull that's full of muscle and shape and red meat. You look down his top, you love the stoutness of hip this bull has. A bull that we look forward to getting back out here in division for contention. But let's give this exhibitor a nice round of applause.
Over in your Charolais show ring, we had Class 201 in the ring of late summer bull calves. First place was 3367 from Pat Odell of Colton, Oregon. We'll now move into Class 203A. Class 203A will be early spring bull calves. We will have entries 3369 from Cap Rock Cattle Company of Hecla, South Dakota. 3370 comes from Anna Link of Rio, Illinois. And 3371 will come from Auden Charolais Ranch of Colombe, South Dakota. Those will be your 3 entries that will make up Class 203A of your Charolais bulls.
Over here on our Charolais side, the bull that we're going to use to lead off with, I think probably the bull that puts the most good things together in terms of structure, body, balance, and muscle. We look at him compared to the other bulls. I think really good in terms of shape to his top. He's clean sheathed. He's balanced. He's compared to the bull directly behind him. He handles his hip better and his hind leg. He stands down square and truer from hock to down to the ground. I like that about him. I like the length extension. I like the softness, the center body of this bull in second. If I could change him, just how he breaks in his top just a little, rounds from hooks to pins, gets a little funny in the way he sets down on his hind leg. Young man in third, a bull, I look at him, love the stout, powerful, rugged appearance of this bull. Changes structure from his shoulder to his knee and down to the ground. He wants to roll out. Let's give these exhibitors a nice round of applause.
Your grand champion percentage Simmental heifer comes from your 4th division. That is your champion spring yearling heifer, 2189 from Tyler Miller of Atlanta, Illinois. We'll now move the reserve champion from the division in for consideration for our reserve grand champion percentage Simmental heifer. Over in your Charolais show ring, results to get to for Class 203A. Third place was 3370 from Anna Link. Second place was 3369 from Caprock Cattle Company. And first place was 3371 from Auden Charolais Ranch. In the ring at this time is now Class 203B of early spring bull calves. We have entries 3375 from Thomas Ranch of Harold, South Dakota, and 3381 comes from Epperson Cattle and Colby Epperson of Laredo, Missouri. Those are your two entries that will make up Class 203 of your early spring Charolais bull calves.
Nice pair of bulls over here on our Charolais side. Both of them fighting the lead a little bit, makes it hard to get a look at them. But I think the bull that's going to lead off the class and just balance, quality, structure, and the way he puts it together and still has enough shape and masculinity about this bull. Good testicular size, tight sheath. I think a nice place to lead off. Bull in second, another bull that has some red meat down his top. You study him from hooks to pins. He comes with some power out of there. Maybe just gets a little plainer in his structure in terms of how he handles his hock to the ground. Maybe fix his structure there just a little bit, but certainly a nice pair of bulls. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
Results to get to in your Simmentals. Your grand champion percentage Simmental heifer once again was 2189. That comes from Tyler Miller of Atlanta, Illinois. And your reserve grand champion percentage Simmental heifer was just crowned. That comes from our 3rd division. That is your champion senior heifer calf, 2177 from Carver Pryor of Woodbine, Iowa. At this time within our Simmental show, we will pause for pictures at the backdrop just briefly, and then we will move right along into our junior purebred Simmental show, starting up with our first class. Some results to get to from your Charolais show, Class 203B of early spring bull calves. Second place was 3381 from Epperson Cattle and Colby Epperson of Laredo, Missouri. And your class winner was 3375 from Thomas Ranch of Harold, South Dakota. Moving in the ring at this time now is going to be our class winners from classes 201, 203A, and 203B. For our judge, Mr. Cody Sankey from Economy, Indiana, to select your champion and reserve champion spring calves. Once again, in the ring for your Charolais show, we should have our class winners from classes 201, 203A, and 203B. From class 201, we should have entry 3367 from Pat Odell of Colton, Oregon. From class 203A, first place 3371 from Auden Charolais Ranch of Colombe, South Dakota. The second place being 3369 from Caprock Cattle Company of Hecla, South Dakota. And from class 203B, we should have first place 3375 from Thomas Ranch of Harold, South Dakota. And the second place entry 3381 from Epperson Cattle and Colby Epperson of Laredo, Missouri.
Nice set of young bulls here in our first division. Our two class winners, I think there's some give and take between the pair of bulls. The one that's going to win our first class down here, really a well-balanced calf in terms of his extension through his front 1/3 and the way he comes out. Got some substance. I like the way he handles it from his forerib back into his rear flank, and he's got some substance and mass to that bull. Just a lot of quality to him. Our bull out of our second class, tremendously long bull that's got a lot of shape and power to him as you evaluate him from the rear. Comes out with a lot of thickness and power to him. I think a close decision between these two. Let's give him a nice round of applause. I'll go out here and take another look, and we'll get you a division champion.
Your spring calf champion bull comes from our class 203A. That is entry 3371 from Auden Charolais Ranch. Your reserve spring calf champion bull comes from class 203B. That is entry 3375 from Thomas Ranch. We will reset our show ring and now bring up our next division of junior calves. This division includes two classes. The first set of classes is class 204A of junior bull calves. Within class 204A, we have two entries. 3383 comes from Josie Schrader of Wells, Kansas. And 3384 comes from Sean Leafsty of Cameron, Texas. These are your two entries that will make up class 204A.
out here in this class. Two powerful individuals. I think definitely some trade-off in type and kind. The bull I chose to lead off with, I think, wins the class based in structure. You watch him through his angle, through his front shoulder and down to the ground, and the way he's built, the way he handles his hip and hind leg, the stoutness of body. Really a nice place to lead off with. I think a high-quality calf here. One that comes in second. I look at him. I look at a bull that is everything that you look for in a Charolais bull in terms of being a terminal sire, muscle, shape, power out of his hip. If I were to change him, I'd handle how he handles his ankle down to the ground. He wants to snap it ever so slightly today and just make him move just a notch better, but love the power and the dimension in that bull. Let's give him a nice round of applause here as they go out of the ring.
Class 204A of your Charolais Junior Bull Calves, second place 3384 from Sean Leifesty of Cameron, Texas, and your class winner 3383 from Josie Schrader of Wells, Kansas. Moving in the ring at this time is Class 204B of Charolais Junior Bull Calves. 3386 makes up Class 204B. This comes from Cap Rock Cattle Company of Hecla, South Dakota. This is our last class within our division of Junior Bull Calves.
Really a high-quality individual here, full of mass and power. You look at him from behind, you love the rugged feature of this bull, the shape and body that he has and the way he comes down. You know, if I were to change this bull just ever so slightly, up in through his knee and down to the ground, and then I'd square him up on his front feet, I'd like to make him just a little better in his toe set there and his claw, but still a big, stout, powerful, good-looking bull coming out here in this class.
Class 204B results. First place 3386 from Cap Rock Cattle Company of Hecla, South Dakota. At this time, we will now bring back our class winners from 204A and 204B. Our judge will select your champion and reserve champion junior bull calves.
We'll get these bulls back out here for division, and I think maybe a little variant in type and kind, but still the quality's there. You know, and I think that the subtle things as you start to look at bulls this age, they're becoming 12 months of age, they're going to have to go out and do some things this spring and cover cows and do those kind of things. I think it's important you start with sound fundamentals at the ground, make sure you work up from there, and then put all the rest of it in terms of body, mass, and substance together for that. For me, the bull that comes together the most with that's a bull out of our first class right here, young man. You'll be our champion in this division. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
Your junior calf champion bull for your Charolais comes from Class 204A. That is entry 3383 from Josie Schrader of Wells, Kansas. Your reserve champion junior bull calf comes also from Class 204A. That is 3384 from Sean Leifesty of Cameron, Texas. We will now reset our Charolais show ring on the north side, and we will bring up our next division of senior calves. This division has Class 206 of senior bull calves. We have a single entry within this class. It'll be entry 3388 coming from Carr Cattle Company of Webb City, Missouri. Over in your southern show ring, we have our Simmental Purebred Junior Show. This will be class number 8 in the program of purebred Simmental heifers born April through May of 2024. We will have entries 2253 from Braden Vetter of Loveland, Colorado, 2196 from Laney Trauernicht of Wymore, Nebraska, 2195 from Arabella Benz of Deweyville, Utah, 2199 from Grant Miller of Ashland, Nebraska, 2200 comes from Mabry Schick of Clinton, Illinois, 2201 comes from Cadley Bailey of Creston, Iowa, 2204 comes from Aaron Rexroad of Lockney, Texas, and 2202 comes from Brixton Birchke of Oneida, South Dakota. Those are your entries that make up class number 8.
Just a single entry here on our Charolais side. Just a powerhouse of a bull. You look at him through his center 1/3 right there. Outward shape to that rib cage. Lots of center width, the chest. Comes back, a lot of power in that hip. I think a bull that'll be fun to see back out here in the end. But let's give this exhibitor a round of applause on their high-quality division winner.
Results for Class 206 of Senior Bull Calves. First place and your champion Senior Bull Calf is entry 3388 from Carr Cattle Company of Webb City, Missouri. Clearing out our ring, we will bring up Class 208 of our Charolais show on the Northern Show Ring. These will be summer yearling bulls. This is a new division. We have in Class 208 entry 3389 from Bar J Livestock Incorporated from Liverpool, Texas. This is the only class in its division. Therefore, first place within Class 208 will become your champion intermediate bull.
Another nice single entry over here, a big-bodied, stout-made, thick-ended bull that can get out and get around the ring. Really a high-quality individual. Look forward to seeing him back out here at the end of the show in competition. But let's give this exhibitor a nice round of applause on their single entry.
Your results for Class 208 of Summer Charolais Yearling Bulls. First place 3389 from Bar J Livestock Incorporated. They also become your champion intermediate bull. We'll move right into our junior division. We'll have Class 209 of Spring Yearling Charolais Bulls. Within Class 209, we have entries 3391, which is owned by Anna Link of Rio, Illinois, and Wild Indian Acres of DeSoto, Missouri. And rounding out our Class 209 would be entry 3393 from Jenna Talak of Prohl, Iowa. These are your two entries that will make up Class 209 of your Spring Yearling Charolais Bulls.
little trade-off here in this class for me. I think there's some things maybe that I tweak on each bull to make them perfect, and I ultimately ended up landing here on the bull that's going to lead off with. I think just you look at the bull in terms of stoutness and power. I think where he comes down his top and just how he holds himself together. I think a bull that's a little tighter in his sheath, and I think the real advantage that he held for me out here is in terms of his testicles and the way he holds them. Stouter, I mean, just the way he carries those testicles. I think you like that about him better. I think a bull that gets out, if I change him, I like to square him up on his front toes just a little bit and how he rolls down at the ground. I think our bull here in second kind of gets that way as well. He gets a little opened up in his shoulder, but really a stout, powerfully made individual. But I'd like to change him in terms of how he handles his testicles underneath and see him come down there a little better. But let's give them all a nice round of applause.
Your results for Class 209 of your Charolais show. Second place, 3391, comes from Anna Link of Rio, Illinois, and Wild Indian Acres of DeSoto, Missouri. Your class winner, first place, 3393, comes from Jenna Tulloch of Prohl, Iowa. We'll now move on to Class 210 of Charolais Junior Yearling Bulls. We have in the ring 3394 from Huck Plyer of Hope, Arkansas. And 3395 rounds out our class, coming from Epperson Cattle and Colby Epperson of Laredo, Missouri. This is the last class within our division of junior bulls.
Interesting pair of bulls here on our Charolais side. The bull I'm going to use to lead off with, I think, just balances up out here. I think the way when the young man gets him set up and presented, the way he comes up out of his front end, he holds his top line square and true. I think he's better from hooks to pins and sets his tail head in a little better. I think the bull that you really still appreciate his width and substance that he has. I think the place to start off. Really a stout, powerful bull coming out here next. Lots of shape to his top. He turned to his quarter and stifle. I think a bull that just gets a little plainer in his overall makeup. Opens up in his shoulder, a little extra sheath underneath. Wants to kind of round from hooks to pins. But certainly two nice individuals out here. Let's give these exhibitors a nice round of applause.
but I think in terms of having some look and style and balance coupled with her extra body and structure is what sets her apart here in this respective lineup. Is just her field design is what we tried to stick through to throughout the percent show, and I try to do here in the purebred show as well. Here's the one that can get out. She can motor, yet still offers you a really high quality look from the profile. From there, I think you can get some give and take. And a young man's heifer here that comes out into, man, she is absolutely dynamite looking whenever they're stopped in park. That one is a little higher tie and a little leaner in the way that she's built through that throat lash. A female that balances up really smooth and neat and tidy. I love the rib shape of the way that she's built and designed, the way that she holds that tail head. And set her in motion is where she falls into that two-hole and makes it a little closer as we move on down. I think a female that just wants to paddle out of that front end more. But man, the look of the design that would offer you is absolutely killer. Heifer here that comes out in 3, man, we like a lot of things about this one. She's young, she's green, she's really honest in terms of her age and condition, and we appreciate a ton of that about her. Talk about one that's youthful and neat and incredibly high tie-in and still good balance and good build. She's just not there today, but that's the worst thing you say about a calf at the National Western Stock Show in January, that you're not there at this point. Certainly one that I think got a very, very bright future as we put her on down the road and project that one. Still have a lot of things about that one. A little softer one here that comes out next. A female that's a little more moderate in her kind. A female that you love her depth and size. Another one of those females that's really smooth all the way through, balances up very nice, really flat jointed, good in terms of her foot size. Not to change the way that she travels after that hip hop and pasture and puller too today. Just a little more coordinated in the way that she goes. Doesn't have necessarily the powers of the heifers that are on either side of her there as well. Quality heifer here that comes out next. Love the length of spine in this one. A long, elegant, incredibly maternal type of a female. Female that balances up very nicely. Female that for us, though, just a little harsher in the way that she travels, shoulder and knee. Female that's not quite as soft as you study hard. Full rib in that one. Still, you love the length of spine. You project that one down the road. Man, sure going to make a really high quality maternal female. Female that comes out next, one that stopped in park, offers you a very pleasing look on the profile. A female that balances up nice. We set her in motion, just a little rounder in the way that that muscle is laid on her and the way that she travels. This pair of heifers will round off the class. I think both heifers that offer you an extremely high quality look from the side. We don't have a dud in this class anywhere. Boy, these are really high quality last place heifers. But here, as we study them, just in this respective class, ran out of power and ran her out of structural build for Dad and I to get them up to the house.
Back over here on our Charolais side, getting ready to pick our division. Really a nice pair of bulls that came out here out of this division to contend. I think a bull that won our first class. I think a bull that you really like his balance, the way he comes together from his forerib back into his flank. He's square and true out from hooks to pins. He sits down at the ground. You know, just a big, stout, powerful kind of an individual to go along with it. Young man's bull that comes out next in the line here, I think he follows that type and kind of being straight and true and square in his lines. It comes out from hooks to pins. I think he gets close, but I think a bull out here out of our first class just has enough more mass and body in his rear 1/3. He's going to be our division champion out here today. I'm going to follow in with the young man out of class 2 for reserve. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
Within your Charolais show, your champion junior bull comes from class 209. That is entry 3393 from Jenna Talok. Excuse me, I had that backwards. Your champion bull comes from class 210. That is Huck Plyer. No, I did have it. Okay, I had it right the first time. Your champion comes from class 209, 3393 from Jenna Talok. The reserve being from class 210, 3394 from Huck Plyer. We will now clear out our ring and bring up class 211 of our senior division of yearling bulls. Within class 211, we have entries 3397 from Epperson Cattle and Colby Epperson of Laredo, Missouri.
Just a single entry out here in this class. A bull that you just love the shape and turn to his top, and the way he comes out of his hip and his stifle and the power that bull has. Look forward to seeing him back out here in division. Let's give this exhibitor a nice round of applause.
Results for Class 211 of your Charolais Senior Yearling Bulls. First place, 33.97 from Epperson Cattle and Colby Epperson of Laredo, Missouri. We'll move on to Class 212 with our Charolais Shows Summer Yearling Bulls. These will be entries 33.98 from McGuire Roar of Elbert, Colorado. And 33.93 comes from Bar J Livestock Incorporated of Liverpool, Texas, and Carr Cattle Company of Webb City, Missouri. These are your last classes for your bulls for your Charolais show. Some results to get to in your junior purebred Simmental show. Your results coming in for class number 8. 8th place was 21.99 from Grant Miller. 7th place, 22.53 from Braden Vetter. 6th place, 22.01 from Cadley Bailey. 5th place, 22.04 from Aaron Rexroad. 4th place, 21.95 from Arabella Benz. 3rd place, 21.96 from Laney Trowernicht. 2nd place, 22.02 from Brixton Birchkey. And your class winner was entry 2200 from Mabry Schick. In the ring at this time now for your Simmental show is going to be class number 9 of purebred semi-heifers born of March of 2024. Within class 9 we have entries 2206 from Shay Stone of Eaton, Colorado. 2207 from Hunter McClure of Johnson, Kansas. 2208 from Harper Fabricius of Carr, Colorado. 2209 from Kennedy Effling of Highmore, South Dakota. 2210 from Abel Reed of Filler, Idaho. And 2211 comes from Vidalia Kimball of Seymour, Wisconsin. This is our last class within the division of spring heifer calves for your Simmental show.
Well, what a class to end the Charolais show here the last time on the hill. These two bulls waited to the end to bring it in, but I think, just a tremendous pair of individuals. And I think there's little things that sort these bulls, and I'll kind of tell you what I see, and I'm going to tell you how I place it. But I think the bull that comes down here first in the arena, right there, that bull gives you that show ring look that you like. The extension, the straightness of lines, the levelness from hooks to pins, the way he comes down to the ground, the way he comes back from his forerib back to his flank. Highly presented, excellent bull in terms of quality and mass and substance. Just has all those pieces. The bulls that stands directly behind it, this is the stout, powerful rascal. This is a bull that's got all the shape and muscle you could ever ask down his top and out of his hip, and the way he comes into his quarter. As you start to look at these bulls and you go back and forth, the trade-off between the pair, I think it is extremely close, but I think this bull down here just gives enough more of that presence from hooks to pins and down to the ground. He's going to win the class. This bull's second. What a pair. Super close. These bulls are awesome. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
Your results for Class 212 of your Charolais Summer Senior Yearling Bulls. Second place, $33.99 from Bar J Livestock Incorporated and Carr Cattle Company. And your class winner was $33.98 from McGuire Roar of Elbert, Colorado. At this time within our Charolais show, we will bring back our class winners from classes 211 and 212. Our judge will select your champion senior bull. Results from your Simmental Heifer show from class number 9. Sixth place was 2208 from Harper Fabricius. Fifth place, 2210 from Abel Reed. Fourth place, 2207 from Hunter McClure. Third place, 2211 from Vidalia Kimball. Second place, 2206 from Shay Stone. And your class winner was 2209 from Kennedy Effling. In the ring at this time for your semi show is going to be your division drive. We have our class winners from 8 and 9, and our judges will select your champion and reserve champion spring heifer calves.
We wrap up our Charolais show here in this division. We get here and a pair of class winners, but I talked about those bulls out of the last class, and I'm not going to take any extra time. Those two are good. They're going to stay together. That'll be your division winner and your division reserve. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
Your champion senior bull comes from Class 212, $33.98 from McGuire Roar. Your reserve senior bull is $33.99 from Bar J Livestock and Carr Cattle Company. Your champion spring Simmental heifer comes from class number 9. That is 2209 from Kennedy Effling. The reserve being entry 2200 coming out of class number 8 from Mabry Schick. In your Charolais show ring, we now have our division winners for our judge to select your champion and reserve grand champion bulls. From your first division of spring calves, 3371 from Auden Charolais Ranch of Colombe, South Dakota. The reserve being entry 3375 from Thomas Ranch of Harold, South Dakota. From your second division of junior bull calves, champion 3389 from Josie Schrader of Wells, Kansas. Your reserve being 3384 from Sean Leisler of Cameron, Texas. From your third division of senior bull calves, champion 3388 from Carr Cattle Company of Webb City, Missouri. From your fourth division of intermediate bulls, champion 3389 from Bar J Livestock Incorporated of Liverpool, Texas. From your fifth division, your champion junior bull 3393 from Jenna Talok of Prohl, Iowa. The reserve being 3394 from Huck Plyler of Hope, Arkansas. And from your sixth and final division of senior bulls, your champion 3398 from McGuire Roar of Elbert, Colorado, and the reserve being 3399 from Bar J Livestock Incorporated of Liverpool, Texas, and Carr Cattle Company of Webb City, Missouri. These are your division champions. For your judge, Mr. Cody Sankey from Economy, Indiana, to select your grand and reserve grand champion Charolais bulls. Over in your Simmental show ring on the south side, we now have class number 10 of purebred Simmental heifers born January through February of 2024. Within this class, we have entries 2214 from Cale Roberts of Absaroki, Montana. 2216 comes from Wiley Simonson of Chinook, Montana. 2217 comes from Ella Killinger of Pulaski, Wisconsin. And rounding out our classes, 2221 from Paisley Olson of Lowry, Minnesota. First place and second place within Class 10 will become your champion and reserve champion junior heifer calves.
Well, as we get here and wrap up our Charolais show, man, it certainly has been an honor and a pleasure, and I want to take time and thank the National Western and the American Charolais Association for inviting me out here to be a part of this event on a historic day, the last time this breed gets to be a part of this arena. And I think, as you think about the history of this place, they talk about it being the Super Bowl of cattle shows. This iconic arena, if that's the case, then this is Lambeau Field or Fenway Park. It's where all the history is, and you think about over the years, the iconic herd sires that have come through that arena door down there and paraded in this arena and made change in the beef industry, whether it was from going from small to big or big to small, and the amount of pride that it is as a breeder to raise one that wins here. I know that personally. Try not to get choked up, but I remember the first time it happened for us right out here in this hallway, and it made us, it really makes you understand the value of what this show brings to the table when you can come here and bring your best out here. And I know every exhibitor that brought an animal here to Denver had hopes of winning, and you get here to the end, and it's, you sort it down, and you have to have the ability to only pick two champions, and that adds value to all these cattle, and it's such a historic day here, an honor and a pleasure to be a part of it. I'm not going to take too much more time of your day, but this is some hallowed ground. I remember the first time I sat foot in here and judged and came as a little kid and sat there with my grandpa and watched this. Man, it's a humbling experience to be able to finish off the day here. So thank you. I certainly enjoyed it. Folks, enjoy your time here. Look around, take it in. Look at these flags, look at the ceiling, think of the history that comes in here to this arena. But young lady, this bull's your champion. Congratulations.
Your grand champion bull comes from your senior division from Elbert, Colorado, 3398 from McGuire Roar. Your reserve grand champion Charolais bull comes from the same senior division. That's your reserve. That's coming from Bar J Livestock Incorporated of Liverpool, Texas, and Carr Cattle Company of Webb City, Missouri. Congratulations to our Charolais exhibitors. We will take pictures at the backdrop, and then we will move into our Charolais group classes. Once the pictures have concluded, we'll start up with Class 401. Your results for Class 10 of your purebred semi-heifers. Fourth place, 2221 from Paisley Olson. Third place, 2217 from Ella Killinger. Second place in your reserve champion junior heifer calf, 2216 from Wiley Simonson of Chinook, Montana. And your class winner and champion junior heifer calf, 2214 from Cale Roberts of Absaroka, Montana. At this time, within our Simmental show, we will bring up class number 11. These will be purebred semi-heifers born November through December of 2023. We have entries 2224 from Cale Roberts of Absaroka, Montana, and 2226 from Mabry Schick of Clinton, Illinois. First and second place within Class 11 will become your champion and reserve champion senior heifer calves. In your Charolais show ring, we have Class 401, Produce of Dam. We have entries Carr Cattle Company of Webb City, Missouri, Anna Link of Rio, Illinois, Josie Schrader of Wells, Kansas, Thomas Ranch of Harold, South Dakota. Two entries from Thomas Ranch of Harold, South Dakota, and our last entry, Epperson Cattle of Laredo, Missouri. These are your entries that make up Class 401. Your results for Class 401 of your Charolais group classes. Sixth place went to Epperson Cattle of Laredo, Missouri. Fifth place was Anna Link of Rio, Illinois. Fourth place was Thomas Ranch of Harold, South Dakota. Third place was Josie Schrader of Wells, Kansas. Second place was Carr Cattle Company of Webb City, Missouri. And your class winner was Thomas Ranch of Harold, South Dakota. We will now move into Class 402, which will be Junior Get of Sires. Within Class 402, we have entries from Josie Schrader of Wells, Kansas, and our last entry would be Thomas Ranch of Harold, South Dakota. Your results for Class 402 of your Charolais show of your Junior Get of Sires. Second place was Josie Schrader of Wells, Kansas. And your class winner was Thomas Ranch of Harold, South Dakota. That does complete our Charolais show. We will be taking pictures at the backdrop. So we appreciate all of our Charolais exhibitors. And I hope that you enjoyed and took it all in for the last year here in Stadium Arena. Some results to get to in Class 11 of your purebred Simmental heifers. Second place and your reserve champion senior heifer calf was entry 2224 from Cale Roberts of Absaroka, Montana. Your class winner and your champion senior heifer calf went to entry 2226 from Mabry Schick of Clinton, Illinois. In the ring at this time now for your Simmentals is Class 12. Class 12 is entries 2229 from Hilton Smith of Kiowa, Colorado. 2230 comes from Caden Bennington of Jamestown, Indiana. And 2231 comes from Abigail Britton of Olmsted, Illinois. First and second within Class 12 will become your champion and reserve champion summer yearling heifers.